What I was imagining is like the scene from Titanic where the car gets all fogged up, and then it's like a police officer goes up to Aaron's car and knocks in the window. It's all fogged up. He rolls down the window and he's like, "Sorry, officer, I was recording a podcast."
Hot and steamy in there. All right, so save it, everybody. We haven't even started.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Pastime Paradise podcast. I am your host Aaron with my co-hosts
Aldrine
And Kahai.
and yeah, we're back. We're here to just talk about random stuff like usual.
Hell yeah.
First off, like, how's everybody doing? We just kind of saw each other for the first time in person all together a couple days ago. So like that's kind of cool because usually it's just us hanging out online, but yeah.
Yeah, I actually got to see, touch, feel, smell Kahai. It was awesome. It's a great experience.
That's why I think we don't do that very often.
I miss you, man. I miss your scent.
There is a limit to the amount of times that Kahai is willing to meet in person.
Guys, maybe our weekly talks are pretty good, you know.
You gotta recharge your social battery after that.
We don't want to meet up too much, and then we won't have anything to talk about on the podcast. We gotta save it.
Yeah. That's the excuse.
It was nice. And I got a pretty awesome gift from Kahai, actually. I got a compact disc. A compact disc of Maury Calliope. It was such a surprise. I did not see that coming, and boom, Kahai's just like, here in your face. Here's some kindness. I'm like, oh, nice. I'm not used to being treated nicely. I forgot what being treated nicely was, Kahai. So thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the dangerous things you can do is tell me, it's like, hey, you know that thing that you mentioned? I actually like that too. And then it's like, oh, really? Oh, then I have something for you. Yeah.
Hey, dog, I heard that you liked Maury Calliope, so here's a...
Oh, you think you like Maury Calliope? Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I'm a true deadbeat now, so I now own merch. I'm a true deadbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to hang out, and it was pretty fun. We got to hang out with our friend Kyle too, so eventually we're gonna get him on the podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kyle Ferruccio, Shadowstrom himself. Shadowstrom.
For people who were following us on our Ukulele Underground podcast back in the day, he would show up every once in a while, and so would Mike. Mike would be a recurring guest, so
yeah.
I just talked to Mike yesterday, and he's totally down to come on. So yeah, we just gotta start lining people up and getting people on already.
Yeah, man. I think like we've been hyping up like guests and stuff who come into the pod, and we got to get one already. I think we've been hyping up guests since like episode 1, and it's like episode 15, 16 or something, and we haven't had a single guest come in yet. But you know, we wanted to establish ourselves, so that people can kind of get to know us and who we are and stuff. Because once we start bringing guests in, they're like, it's these 3 guys again by themselves, you know?
Yeah. So it should be fun. Kyle is totally down.
Yeah. He's an interesting fella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for today's podcast, should I just wait until this helicopter goes over?
It's part of the Koi experience, baby.
It's part of the experience.
Well, I guess like maybe we should give that like warning, or like kind of give a what is it? Just
disclaimer.
Behind the scenes kind of peek into what's going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because we're not some professionals who like record in a studio and things. Like, we're real, baby. This is as real as it gets. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, wouldn't you want to just kick back in the backyard, hang out with us with all the backyard noises, like the neighbors like hammering stuff, helicopters, chickens, buzzsaws, you know, like all that, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want to hear. We're just hanging out with us. We're real, baby. You know, we're not too cool for you inside a AC studio and whatnot. You get all the noises.
Yeah. I think somebody asked us on our Patreon, like, what is your recording setup or what is the minimum to record the podcast. And I think what we use is the minimum to record a podcast.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to get by, man. We're trying our best, you
We
know.
record it through our Talk Boys, and then we convert that file.
Yeah.
And that's what we sent to you guys.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a Talk Boy as a kid? Speaking of nostalgic
I
stuff.
bought my sister one.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, that's dope. I always wanted one as a kid.
Yeah.
Never got one.
My sister's favorite movie is Home Alone.
Oh.
And so she would watch Home Alone 1, 2, and a bunch of the other ones too. Like, you know, like the non-canon Home Alones, she would watch those too. But her favorite was like 1 and 2. Yeah, so when I think I was in high school and she was in middle school or elementary school, and I bought her one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was basically like a ploy for us to just buy more like merch from that movie, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Talkboy was in home. Was it in 1 or was it mostly used in 2? Right.
I think it's 2. I think it's
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, I think it was only in 2.
That's how he records his like dad or something, and then that's how he fools the hotel into letting him stay there. Right? Is he
Yeah.
uses his dad's voice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
Today I messaged the guys and it basically said that I can't record during the regular time that we record because I had stuff to do. And so I am currently in my car just recording onto my phone. So we'll see what Kahai can even do with this audio. Hopefully it comes out okay. And for some reason it was scheduled that I'm also hosting today. So I'm supposed to be doing more talking than I usually do. I usually just listen. You gotta bear
It's
with
gonna be
us.
okay.
Sorry,
Kai is like
everybody.
the audio wizard that made Ukula on the Ground what it was for the later half of Ukula on the Ground's life. So Kahai can work some. He is Dr. Kahai. He will doctor this up, and he'll come out looking like the beautiful bride of Frankenstein that it is.
Yeah. I mean, to a point, and then sometimes you said Bride of Frankenstein, and then to a point you go like, man, there's nothing I can do about the stitches. I'm just leaving that in. I'm sorry. You just gotta see it for what it is.
It's fine, man.
You
You are like Gecko Moria and Dr. Hogback is who you are.
Yep.
For all the nerds out there.
Just try my
As if
best.
the Frankenstein reference wasn't enough. We'll do a One Piece reference.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's true. Yeah.
So today I was talking to Kai recently and I don't know how we got onto this topic, but we were talking about educational content from when we were growing up. So talking about toys, educational toys, because my parents wouldn't really buy me a lot of regular toys and I wasn't that needy of a kid. So I had toys. I had lots of toys, but most of it just came from Christmas. My parents rarely would buy me toys, but for educational products, like they would do whatever I wanted. If I was interested in any kind of educational product, they would drop money for that. So we'll talk about toys. We'll talk about educational TV shows, educational like CD-ROMs that we, anything in that vein, because we all come from Asian parents, and that was that's kind of valued,
MO, man.
Yeah, just from a family standpoint, right?
Yeah.
I feel like all of our parents were kind of like that, where they would question if it was some kind of frivolous thing, just a random toy, but if it was anything for education, oh, no problem, we'll figure it out, we'll get it for you. So
Who wants to go first?
I don't know. Does anybody want to start?
Maybe I'll go first because, as we stated before, I'm a little bit younger than you guys. And so I remember when me and Aaron were originally talking about this, another thing we're talking about is books too, like books we grew up with. And I mentioned Animorphs, and Aaron said like, oh yeah, I saw Animorphs, but I never read it. So there's like things that I thought about that I don't know if you guys will actually like relate to. And I think the big thing that I was thinking about was actually educational video games. And there was like a few educational video games that I don't know if they were made by the same people or the same company, but when I look it up, it's like kind of everybody, I think around my age group, remembers owning or playing those video games. And actually thinking about it, it was called educational video games, but a lot of the times it was kind of like point and click adventures too. So maybe there's like simple puzzles like what is this or what is that, but more like you're kind of just looking for things like hidden too. And some of the ones that I remembered is there's one called Putt Putt, and the one that I think I had was Putt Putt Travels Back in Time, and it's a talking car. I think in that one it's like you travel to different time periods and you like gotta just look for things. And then another game that I had was Pajama Sam, and it's like a little kid in his pajamas and he gets sucked into his closet, and then he has to like solve puzzles and do things to get his way out, I guess, or something. And it's kind of crazy because I remember playing these games as a kid and I must have sunk hours into these games. And then as an adult, I like looked it up and I was like, oh my god, I don't think I've ever finished these games. And I think I got stuck on a couple puzzles. Like I don't think I saved the game and then like started from that save. I just played from the beginning all the way till I get stuck, and then it's like, okay, I guess I'm done playing for today. Turn it off, come back maybe like a week later and be like, let's see if I can figure it out, but I gotta redo all the puzzles that I did up to this point and then get back up to there. And it's like, as an adult, I looked up like what the endings were, and it's like, Jesus, how did some kids figure these puzzles out? Because I don't remember them. Even as an adult, I'd be like, damn, I might look up a guide on how to figure these things out.
Was it like multiple choice stuff? Or you had to like type in the actual answer?
Yeah. So for Pajama Sam, I remember it was more like you look for things hidden around, you know, map or whatever's shown there. And it's almost like those games or those sheets where there's things hidden as multiple things, right? So they're kind of disguised as something else. You might see the shape of it and then be like, okay, that's supposed to be this or whatever, you know? Or it's like logic puzzles too, I think, where they're like, this thing is dark, so what can you use to light it up? And then you have to go back 5 levels, unscrew a light bulb, come back, and then it's like, you can use the light bulb to light this thing up. It's like,
damn,
so, yeah, it must have been that my parents saw this or something, because I don't remember asking my parents for it. But yeah, those were like some of the only games I had on the computer growing up. And even when I got older and everybody else started using the computer to play like World of Warcraft or RuneScape and games like that, it's like my only experience with computer games was still like, oh yeah, I remember Pajama Sam and Putt Putt, and there's another one, Freddy Fish. Do you guys remember Freddy Fish? There's a game, Zumbinis. Yeah, it's great, you know. So
I remember the name Pajama Sam, but I don't think I've ever played it. But that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's probably because it's like by the time I was playing it, you guys were probably like in middle school, right? And it really is like for kids. It's, you know, geared towards kids. I don't remember asking my parents for it, but I kind of remember it being in the Scholastic Book Fair. So if you buy anything from the Scholastic Book Fair, like that's aimed towards kids, right? And they're like, look, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But then usually it is like, oh, this isn't really a video game. This is like,
it's homework. It feels like homework.
Yeah, kind of, a little bit. Yeah. Like, oh, okay, I guess so. But, you know, like we talked about our parents buying us stuff, and I kind of feel like when that's all your parents buy for you, you take it as much as you can get, right? Like you're like, yeah, give me that. Give me that Pajama Sam. Give me that Freddy Fish.
Yeah. When you mentioned Pajama Sam, like it kind of felt like it rung a bell, and I just looked it up right now, and it looks familiar.
Yeah.
Though I'd never played it, but it does look familiar.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of reminds me of, I think when I was in like middle school or like just before middle school, we got a new computer and it was a Packard Bell. And it came with like a bunch of CD-ROMs bundled in with when you buy the computer. And one of them was Little Howie. It was like Howie Mandel's voice. And it was like a bear. I think it was like a bear or something like that. It was basically Howie Mandel voicing all of the characters in this CD-ROM. And it was kind of like Bobby's World.
Oh, yeah, I love that show.
The show Bobby's World. It was very similar to the voice that he did for Bobby's World. Yeah.
Wow, damn, licensed product with your stuff, with your purchase.
Yeah. And it was kind of like that educational. You had to like discover things and learn about things. It sounds very similar to Pajama Sam.
I had something similar to that, but like mine's was actually fun. Like my grandmother would frequent garage sales and moving sales back. That was like her Saturday morning, you know. And usually my parents and my uncles and aunties were like Filipinos, and we all live in like the same house. There's like 15 of us or something living in the same house. And every time we'd just be super irritated her coming home like maybe 1 o'clock after she was done with her morning, like, you know, Saturday morning moving and garage sale finds. And she would just be bringing trash in the house, you know, basically. But every so often, she'd find like a garage sale with like video games. And she knew I loved video games, but it's my grandma. So she doesn't know like, you know, what she's buying and stuff. So she just buys whatever random. So sometimes there's gold. Sometimes there's like, you know, whatever, like something that I've never heard, some obscure game that I've never heard before. And I play and I'm like, this is fun for like 2 minutes. But one time she struck gold and she came home with Mario Paint.
Oh, wow.
Like, Kahai, I don't know if you're familiar with Mario Paint, but damn, that I believe that had a lot to do with my interest in music.
Yeah.
Because in Mario Paint, there's like a composer in there. You can make music and stuff. So as far as educational, quote unquote, like video games that I had, Mario Paint was definitely a big one. And it came with like the mouse and stuff, you know, that came with it. But yeah, my grandma came home with it. She's like, I don't know what this is. Like, it's Mario, so I got it for you. It was like $5. It's like, right on, score, you know. So and I remember telling her that like, this is really good, like maybe you should go back and were there more video games? They're like, oh yeah, there were more, they're all $5 each. I'm like, just get me like $50 worth of video games. And she's like, right on, Nick, you know. But I'm not kidding, she came home with stuff like Secret of Mana, like Chrono Trigger, like $5 each. I was so stoked, man. It was like she found gold. I don't know if it was like some parent that was just like tired of their kid like screwing up at school and sold all their video games, but I definitely benefited from that. It was like really good games too. So yeah, Mario
the parent
Paint
was like I told you I was gonna do it. You didn't listen. I told you I was just gonna sell it all.
Yeah, it was like not an empty threat, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, my grandma came back, and you know, like it wasn't all bangers. Like there was, I think, Wayne's World. Well, like she came back with it. I'm like, this is fun for like 5 minutes, but but then, you know, Secret of Mana, like Chrono Trigger was really good, and I think she came back with like Donkey Kong Country. It was awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, so as going back to educational stuff. So if you guys have not played Mario Paint before, it's basically MS Paint, but there is a portion in there where like there is a composer. It's just like a staff, like a music staff, and you put icons on the music staff, and it plays that note for you. And then whatever icon you use is the sound of that note. So you can make pretty elaborate like music using Mario Paint. And people have, like, I did not make elaborate stuff back when I had it back in the day, but like I remember like discovering things on YouTube and listening to people make like all these elaborate like crazy compositions of cover songs. There's like Snoop Dogg and Kirby and, you know, like all this crazy stuff. But I remember using it and just making simple songs that was familiar to me. And I think at that time I might have been in middle school, and I was probably doing like some stuff for bands. So I think I would transpose like the clarinet stuff that I would have, because the staff made sense to me at that point, you know. So I would just like do my clarinet music onto that, and I would kind of hear how it would sound like. It was pretty awesome. So as far as educational, that's probably, you know, a big part of where like the love for like composing kind of came from.
So it's like you had your clarinet music,
Yeah.
but then it was all meows, or it was all like
Yeah.
the coin
woof woofs.
sound from Mario, or
Yeah.
There's a boat, there was a cat, it was awesome, man. Like, if I don't know if we can advise people to go like check out an emulator, but no, I think Switch has Mario Paint, right?
I don't know.
I think you get Mario Paint on Switch.
yeah.
So yeah, for those people with Switches, go check out Mario Paint, and it might be free with your with like the Nintendo Switch Online subscription, because you can play like retro games, and one of the retro games is Mario Paint, and I've yet to go play it again, but now this is making me want to go back and play Mario Paint.
Yeah, I love that it's like in this day and age, you can get like a free DAW to make super complex music, or it's like good sounding music, and you can do it all for free. no, go back to getting a 30-year-old program. And the focus of Mario Paint wasn't the composer section. It was the painting. The painting was supposed to be the main thing, but go check out the composer. Yeah,
it was awesome. No, because like the thing is, I think I would take it and I would like introduce it to my kids, because like I feel like that's a lot more like kid friendly than a DAW. You know, like for them to use and stuff. I haven't thought, because my kid has a Switch and we have a Nintendo Switch online subscription. I might just introduce her to Mario Paint and tell her like, okay, now make this song. She's in our ukulele school, so I might just like tell her to like, oh, can you make that song for me in Mario Paint?
Nice. Yeah, and it was all 8-bit sounds, right? It was like the sounds from the video games.
Yeah, it was awesome. I would spend hours on that, like weekends, whole weekends on that thing. It was awesome.
Just transposing your clarinet music.
Yeah.
So cool.
I didn't have Mario Paint. But I remember seeing people use it, and I remember people making songs using the cat, you know, like all the time. Was the cat sound in Mario? Or did they just throw that in?
I don't know. No, I mean, it was in Mario Paint. I don't know if it's in Mario.
It was, yeah.
So, because I was thinking, like, I don't know if Mario Paint, like, it was developed and made by Nintendo, right? It could have been like an outsourced to another company. And so they're just like, kind of make it Mario themed, but you know, just do whatever. And they're like, yeah, kids will like a cat sound, right? Let's put this in. Let's add a cat noise.
Oh, it's pretty awesome, man. If you guys are like, really, what? Like, no, check out like YouTube videos of like Mario Paint Composer or whatever it's called. It's so cool. It is really cool.
Yeah. For me, one of the memories that I have about an educational product, it was a toy that my parents, I pretty much begged my parents to get this. And I don't even know where, it must have been in some kind of catalog that I saw it, but it was called Geo Safari. Do you guys know what that is?
That also sounds familiar. It's like a it's like a program, a PC program, eh?
No, it was like a physical device.
Oh, really?
And it basically had like, it was a stand for like these cards that you would it was maybe about like a 8.5 by 11 card. There were like maps and different things on the cards, and you would put them onto the device, and then you would plug in the number that's on the card. And then it would test you on like, so there was one that was like the United States and just the capitals of each state. So it would just go like random, on the sides there were like these LED lights, and it would light up one random one, and you'd have to locate it on the card and then give your answer like by plugging in the numbers. And if you were correct, then it would like reward you or keep your points. And then if not, then it would be like, dun dun, like, no, you did it wrong. And I don't know why that excited me so much, but like, I really, really liked that thing. I played with it for hours. I only really learned like the names of the states and and their locations and then some of the capitals, but I wasn't very good at it, but I remember playing with it kind of a lot. There were a bunch of different ones. And you could buy new packs, like just the card packs.
Yeah.
So your parents could keep buying more and more packs.
The expansion.
Yeah. Geo Safari. So like yeah.
For some reason, when you say Geo Safari, I picture this like CD-ROM but the Geo Safari is in like Indiana Jones fonts and stuff. Like Is that what it is? Because it sounds familiar.
You know, I think they might have had a CD-ROM as well.
Yeah.
But this was like a device that you would have, and it was like a tabletop type of, like, you would set it onto your table and you would sit there and you would type in numbers on the number pad, and if you were correct, it was like kind of low tech like that, kind of like Simon, you know, like those types of toys where all you had was the LED lights lighting up and it would tell you if you were wrong or not.
Simon. Most people are not gonna understand what you mean by when you said Simon. I just caught that. It's so 90s kid of you.
They still have keychains of that, right? In the toy
Simon
section?
keychains? I guess so. It's more Bop It, man.
Yeah.
Bop It, yeah.
Because Simon is just light up Bop It, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My nephew has one where it's like almost like 4D. Like you gotta turn the cubes to be a certain way to match the
dang.
colors and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still going, but it's way fancier. But Audrine, I think you gotta look up GeoSafari and see what it is.
Okay.
Because when I looked it up and I pulled it up on like my computer, I was like, this fucking thing. Like I knew when I saw it, I knew exactly.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
I've seen that before.
Yeah. right.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some classrooms might have it. you know?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had it, but I remember seeing it. And this was the thing where you get excited because it's like I have a computer of my own,
Yeah.
but it's nowhere near a computer, right?
But there's no screen. It was like it was like
It's just a bunch of sheets. Yeah.
yeah, it was just sheets and LED lights.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
So,
remember
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and when you said you could buy more sheets, Aaron, I was like, okay, now the question is, did your parents buy you more sheets? Or did you only have one? Because I remember you go like, okay, I guess I'm doing either the state capitals or animals today. Which
Yeah.
one is it going to be?
yeah. I think I had the pack that came with it. And then they probably bought like an extra some other random topic. And that was it. Like I don't think we ever bought any more expansions after that. Because it's not like you could have gone on the website and just like looked at all of the things that they had. It came from a catalog.
Yeah.
And unless you had the catalog, like the updated version of that catalog, then you probably wouldn't get it.
There was a GeoSafari video game for Windows and Mac.
Oh, yeah?
In 1995. Yeah.
CD-ROM.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's probably what I was thinking about. But as soon as I looked this thing up, I'm like, yeah, I've seen that. Like probably in class. Like I didn't own that.
Yeah.
But I think in class it was like, we had that. Kolo was school.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I was really interested in having things from school. Because remember, like in PE class, you would have like those roller racers.
No.
It was like a thing that you sat on. It was low to the ground. There was a handlebar that you also put your feet on.
Yeah.
And then you would sway it back and forth and you would be able to go. Like I really, really wanted that, but my parents never got it for me.
You nerds love school so much.
Yeah.
You wanted school
Yeah,
at
I
home.
wanted one of those giant parachutes that you put the ball on top, but I didn't have
my
enough
gosh.
friends.
Oh my gosh. Are you talking about like the rainbow parachute and then like
Yeah.
everybody has to stand
Yeah.
around it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you and your sister in the backyard.
Yeah.
Did they make this as a two-person?
Yeah. I don't think it works that way.
See, that's another merch for just a two-person parachute.
Two-person rainbow parachute.
3 if you're really cool.
Yeah. You gotta convince your uncle to play with you.
Both parents.
Yeah.
all the kids with two loving parents.
The rainbow colors of the parachute is supposed to be where each person stands. So since it's only 2 people, it's just a monochrome parachute.
No, since it's from Kauai, it has to be camo. It has to be a camo parachute.
Camel.
You sell like hotcakes on Kauai, man, and then they're gonna sell it at like, what is that place at the mall that sells the like the little kid stuff, like bougie little kid stuff?
Yeah. Small
What is
fry.
it? Small fry. They're gonna sell a small fry Kauai.
That sounds
It comes with like a stuffed animal boar that you put on the center.
No, that's the ball. The boar is the ball that you like.
Yeah.
You're trying to keep up with the parachute.
This kind of reminds me of like the episode of Bob's Burgers where they look at his past and he's playing with a sponge, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
the dog soap.
it's like a kid who wants a parachute and they have to use their dad's like camo for when they go hunting, and then they're like, look, I have a parachute of my own, and the other kids are like, no, that's not a parachute, what are you talking about?
It's just like the tents, like the
Yeah.
tent that you would use to camp out, and that's why it's camo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other stuff?
Yeah. I don't know. We could go around again.
Yeah.
Hi.
Kai, keep going.
So I mean, we kind of talked about games, right? But we were also thinking about just educational things in general, right? One thing I remembered is, did you guys ever read the Magic Treehouse books?
Yeah.
Yeah, educational books about like two kids who I think they also travel back in time, right? Or like they go into a treehouse and they can go to like knights and like dinosaurs and samurai and all different places around the world in different times. But again, it's like when Aaron was saying that, you know, you have to have like a magazine to order more stuff for the Geo Safari. The Scholastic Book Fair like came around and I felt like I bought things and then you gotta wait for the next time it comes around before you buy more things specific to the Scholastic Book Fair.
Yeah.
So you gotta stock up when it does come around, because you gotta wait a whole year before it comes around again, right? But that series, I think, I don't know if it fed into like just my getting obsessed about certain things, because I remember like reading certain books from that series and then doing like full-on book reports about like, you know, whatever the topic of that book was. And I would even go to, I think, Walden's books at the time, and I read like, you know, the one on dinosaurs, and then I would convince my parents to buy me like adult encyclopedia about dinosaurs because it's related. And my mom like even said like, where it was hard because she'd be like, okay, Kahai, what do you want to read? Do you want to read Spot, or do you like, what book do you want to read? And then I handed her the giant dinosaur encyclopedia, and she's like, oh, okay. And she like opens it up and she's like reading it to me, you know. And even she would say like, she would be reading stuff and she's like, I don't know what the fuck these words are. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. And she's looking at me, expecting me to be like sleeping or glazed or you know, not paying attention. And she said like, I would be looking at her like I'm picking up every single word. And she's like, I don't know how to pronounce this fucking dinosaur's name, right? Those things, for some reason, it just like ticked off for me, where it's like, that was the early instances of me falling down a rabbit hole, right? And just like getting lost and, you know.
In search of dinosaurs.
Yeah. It's like, Kahai, this is not really a story. It's more like an article.
Yeah.
This is not bedtime material.
Do you guys remember there's like a white encyclopedias, or like they're kind of like picture books, and then they would be on certain topics? Like I remember one was like medieval weapons and stuff like that. I was trying to remember what those books were called. But one of my childhood memories where I remember bringing those things to school and being like, isn't this the coolest, guys? And it was not the coolest. Like, you just meet dead eyes of like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it's like, oh, I guess I'm the only one who really gets into this, you know?
Books, some of my favorite kind of educational, but I don't know if it's educational, but just like series that I was into as an elementary school kid was Encyclopedia Brown. You guys remember those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
Dude, I loved Encyclopedia Brown. You know, I was like a bunch of the other normal kids who read stuff like Goosebumps and whatnot, but I remember Encyclopedia Brown was like something that I was just obsessed with. And I remember like Doug did an episode, kind of like an Encyclopedia Brown, you know, kind of episode where like somebody stole like the bumper stickers and the bumpers and stuff in an episode of Doug, and I'm like, oh, that's like Encyclopedia Brown. Yeah. Doug is just like me. He loves those books too. You know, and he looks in the back for the answers. Yeah. But yeah, like I love those things, and I remember because it was like I didn't have the greatest attention span, and it was one of those like kind of chapter books that was one chapter long, because like the entire like mystery was like within kind of like a short story. So you read the short story and the answer was in the back, and then there'll be like 10 short stories in one book. So it was pretty awesome. Like I loved going to the library and checking those out, and then like just kind of in my own world reading that and trying to figure out what the thing is, and then looking in the back of the book and seeing that I was wrong. and like, but every time that I was right, I remember it was a good day. I remember I felt like walking around like I was the man. Like I just figured out this mystery, you know? You guys don't know know anything. I figured out, like who stole whatever pumpkins from this, like, from this pumpkin patch thing that everyone is looking for. Nobody else can figure it out. I did. Me, Aldrin Guerrero, aka Encyclopedia Filipino Brown.
yeah. I'm so smart.
Yeah,
Or at least I'm smarter than Bugs Meany.
Bugs Meany.
He can't
Hell
fool
yeah,
me.
man. Put a nickel in my freaking oil can, baby. It's good stuff, man. I mean, I like that series, like Sideways Stories from Wayside Schools, another fun like kind of series that that I dig.
Yeah.
And but definitely like Encyclopedia. I think I read all of them, and I think the author still makes some. And I remember telling my kid that like I used to love this, and like, she borrowed some in the library. My kid goes to the library like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And I remember she borrowed some. I'm like, hey, did you read it? She's like, oh, I'm going to. And I'm like, you read it. It's like, I want you to read it, and I want to read it too, and I can show you that I can figure out these mysteries and you can't. But she ended up just returning it. She didn't even read it. I was like, never mind. I'll borrow it again. I want to read it. I wanted to read it, but I wanted her to read it first. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to set an example.
It's just because you wanted to read them.
Hell yeah.
You wanted to reread, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some things that you want a second crack at that, Like, if I could play ASO soccer now, I would. I would be way better than the kids, right? I'd be way better than the other kids. And kind of like that. Like if like I wanted to borrow Encyclopedia Brown as an adult now. I'm like, see, I knew I could solve that mystery without looking at the back of the book.
So easy.
So easy.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I want to tell myself, but I know if I go back to those old video games, I'd still probably get stuck and be irritated.
Yeah. I feel worse about myself. I'm an adult now.
Yeah, fire up that old Geo Safari, Aaron.
Yeah. Still don't know those capitals.
God damn it. This is a video game about a talking car and a talking fish. Why am I getting stuck on this? The hell?
Yeah.
What is the capital of California? Why is it not LA?
Were the books that you were thinking of childcraft?
Let me look that up. Maybe.
Yeah. Childcraft. I know that those were always in the elementary school classroom or whatever, and then some kids had those at home. I think I might have had like a couple, but I didn't have the whole set.
Yeah, I think I had some of these, but no, it was like a bigger encyclopedia than this. This is encyclopedia for like kids, right? And it's made kid-sized encyclopedia.
Yeah.
What I asked my parents to buy was a full adult-sized encyclopedia about dinosaurs.
Oh.
Yeah, it was not.
Yeah.
Hearing my mom say that she read it to me, I'm like, I feel bad for you. Like, I wouldn't want to do that now.
The question is, Kai, did you, as a kid, dig up your backyard hoping to find a dinosaur bone?
Probably. I remember doing that thing where they sift through like dirt to try and like get rocks or minerals or whatever.
Yeah.
I bugged my dad about like, Dad, try cracking open this rock. You never know, there might be a fossil inside. And my dad's like, no, you idiot. Like, if I crack it, I'm going to break my tools. I'm not going to find any, like, there's not going to be a fucking fossil in it.
Yeah.
That's why you never found a fossil, Dad.
Yeah. It's only the volcanic rock we're fairly new. So.
When you're saying about Encyclopedia Brown, though, I don't think I read Encyclopedia Brown, but I know I read, like, other books where the kids are detectives, too, right? Boxcar children, that kind of things.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You read those things, and then you think you're a detective, so you start carrying around a notebook and a pen, right? And it's like, I'm gonna take notes and I'm gonna figure this thing out. And then, like, how often do you do that? And then you realize, like, there's nothing to write down though. Like, what am I gonna write down somebody saying something? It's like not that interesting. So it's like after a few weeks, it's like, I don't want to carry this around anymore.
That's why you needed a talk boy.
Yeah.
Very educational.
Yeah, I guess kind of in the same vein of like the books, one of my favorite shows, like educational shows, was a show called Wishbone. It was on PBS.
With a dog.
Yeah. And so like, I don't know, I guess maybe it's just a product of the time that we lived in, because there were no like CGI, like you couldn't really make the animals or the babies like talk. They couldn't do those kinds of special effects. So it was basically the dog, and his mouth never really moved, right?
No.
But you could just hear his thoughts.
Yeah. Just commentary.
There was a voice actor voicing his thoughts. So the show Wishbone was about a dog, and I think every episode started like in his normal life, right, with the family that he lived with, and then he would be like, oh, they get into a situation, and it's like, oh, this situation reminds me of this situation in this classic novel called whatever, and then he would introduce the novel, and it would be like a really like classic novels that they covered, like A Tale of Two Cities or Silas Marner, or it's like, you know. And so it was like real literature that they were covering, and then they would move into like a representation of that novel, and the dog would be a character in the novel. And he would be interacting with like real people talking, and when he would talk back, it would just be like the voiceover guy, but the dog's mouth wasn't moving at all. But I kind of like that. It was during that time, like in the 90s, like we just accepted it, right? The fact, like we didn't even question the fact that his mouth wasn't moving. So
imagine if it did. I think it would look kind of creepy.
Yeah.
If they kept Wishbone the dog, but just like moved his mouth so that he would speak those words. Like I think it'd be kind of creepy.
Too surreal.
Yeah.
So like it was perfect for what it was, and it actually introduced me to like a lot of novels that by the time that I got into high school, I was familiar at least with the general storyline of some of the novels that were assigned in high school, and it made me go and read some classic novels on my own. There are a few that I read just because I wanted to know how the actual novel went, but I was introduced to it because of Wishbone. So yeah, that was one of my favorite PBS shows, and we probably could do a whole episode on PBS shows, but that's one of my...
I looked up Wishbone. Google must be like, this is somebody from the fucking 80s and 90s, because immediately it pulled up the dog.
Yeah.
And then the next search is like actual Wishbones, right? But then for the most part, it's the dog.
Yeah.
And like the fourth or fifth picture is him with like a bow and arrow, so I'm guessing it's like Robin Hood or some kind of story, right?
Yeah. It was well done. Like, you know, it wasn't like it was a PBS show, so obviously they had caps on how much they could spend per episode, but I felt like they did a good job, at least with the costumes and everything.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah.
I remember it being one afternoon, you would have Wishbone, you'd have Reading Rainbow, you'd have like Ghost Rider was another one that was from PBS that like was in that block. Yeah. It looked good. I like that show.
Yeah. Nice. I could probably do an episode on Ghost Rider.
Dude, I love Ghost Rider, man. Ghost Rider is so good. And people are like, oh, Ghost Rider, the Marvel comic. No, it's a Ghost Writer. Like, he writes.
Yeah. And he left clues in his writing, and he encouraged kids to write.
It's like, oh, you mean the guy with the flaming skull that rides a motorcycle? No, it's like a writer that writes books. It's because that's how I started watching it. I'm like, oh, right on, Ghost Rider. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? There's nothing Marvel about this.
Yeah.
But I kept watching anyway. I'm like, this is still good. Still good.
Yeah. In fact, when I started learning how to do animation, that was one of the things that I wanted to animate. Was like animate myself with like Ghost Rider floating next to me.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So like in the show Ghost Rider, the PBS show, it was I don't know, it was like a dot or something with some
kind of like light
commas or
some light thing.
Yeah, it was like a glowing dot that was in different colors.
Yeah.
It would transition to different colors, but it was basically just like a dot with like an asterisk next to it or something. So I think that was like one of my earliest projects in Flash, like when I was trying to learn how to animate in Flash. was to have like animate Ghost Rider, and I downloaded like old episodes of Ghost Rider and then tried to figure out how they did some of that stuff. And even now, like, you know, I don't know how they animated it or what they used to animate, but it wasn't super technical, but some of that stuff was pretty impressive, like thinking about what they had to work with, right?
Yeah. I guess all those PBS shows, right? Like, because they're publicly funded, they just had to do as much as they could with what they had.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
While you're talking about Wishbone, I was thinking about, I think this is like too late for you guys, but I watched like Zoboomafoo on PBS.
Yeah.
And I think it's like the same thing, right? Where it's like they have like an actual real life lemur, but they're like, this lemur is a character, so how do we get him to talk? And he like jumps through like something, and then they transition to like a hand puppet, right? And then that's oh yeah, this is what he's saying. And then like at the start of the episode and then at the end of the episode, it's like he's a real lemur, but then through the middle of it, it's just a hand puppet.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, stuff like that where there wasn't like CGI or anything, right? For them to be like, oh yeah, just make it in post. So they just had to be like, we just gotta do the best with whatever we can do, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I looked up Ghost Rider. That cast is very diverse, man. There's like Asians in there, like Latinos, and like, there's a black dude in there. It was
purpose.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I haven't even thought about Ghost Rider until you talked about Wishbone. Because I remember it was like back to back in like Channel 11, which is PBS here in Hawaii.
Yeah. Kind of like Captain Planet, their cast. Where it's purposefully diverse.
Dude, that show is awesome. I gotta watch to see if it holds up. Watch.
I think
that show again.
Ghost Rider was the first time that I heard about the internet was because of Ghost Rider. They did an episode where it was like, hey, we're gonna use our computers and we're gonna go onto the internet, and they showed like what you needed. Like you needed your computer, you needed a modem, and like a cable to connect your computer to the modem and the modem to your telephone line.
Yeah.
And so, that was the first time that I was like, what is this internet thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of these things, right? Like, or Encyclopedia Brown and all those like mystery kids kind of things, isn't it? Where it's like, oh, kids won't get this because you read it and then it's just like, why don't they just use their cell phones to call somebody? And it's like, because that wasn't a thing. If you wanted to call somebody, you had to go to like a landline, if anything, right? But
find a payphone.
Even encyclopedias, right? Yeah, kids going to the library to look things up and not just being like, I'll just use my computer to look it up online. So
yeah.
I mean, I remember going to the library and learning about how to write an email and send it to other people, and that was like in the 90s too. So I remember learning how to do it, and I'm like, who in the fuck do I write to?
Yeah.
It's not like I know anyone else who has an email or access to the internet. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, go to the library and check my mail and says, hi, I'm at the library right now and I want to just write your letter real quick, you know?
Oh, man. I wish I still had my school email, you know? I think the school like makes you make an email, and that was like the thing too, is like they teach you how to write an email, but then they weren't like, oh, send it to a friend. They're just like, send it back to your email address. Just make it like so you can at least try it out, you know?
Yeah.
I think it was like the thing where it's like, write about what you want to do in 10 years or something, you know? So I wish I had that where I could like look it up and be like, that would probably be the only email in that email address. It's like we did that exercise and then we never used the email again.
Yeah, dude. I remember going to the library to mostly MS Paint, you know, to just do that. But that was I remember we had to write emails, but then I wasn't really interested in doing that, so just write like the email as fast as possible, just so that I could go back to doing MS Paint. Because they gave us like an insane amount, like a half an hour or something, where like you just write an email, write it to and it was pretty easy, you know, and write it to the address and whatever, and then send it. And I'm like, okay, cool, done with that. Now let me go make a rainbow or something, or make a comic out of MS Paint, you know?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I remember it's like for us going to the computer lab, it's like, okay, remember to carry your floppy disk so you can save your files.
Yeah.
And don't touch the part on the top because you're gonna wipe everything or you're gonna mess everything up.
Don't play with that.
Yeah.
It's not a fidget kind of thing.
Just carry it and make sure you get to the computer lab, okay?
Yeah. I was just thinking about that because I think I do have a bunch of floppy disks, but I have no way to access any of the files. So I was thinking of
Is there like a reader?
Yeah, I think they do have USB floppy disk drives. So
No.
I was thinking of getting one.
Yeah. You probably have to get it right before it's like completely gone. And it's like you can't even get that.
Yeah.
Are you trying to run your copy of Print Shop through your...
Yeah, it took like 5 floppy disks to install.
Dude, that was the early like Photoshop, yeah, Print Shop. That was like the first one. I remember using Print Shop, and that's how I would write letters and print them out and send them to my family back in the Philippines. And look how fancy I am.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Philippines, when I came here, a show that I hold near and dear to my heart, and before I guess even before I moved here, because they had it in the Philippines, was Sesame Street. And English is not my first language. So when my parents knew that we were gonna come here to America, they basically switched me off of the Filipino Sesame Street, which is called Batibot at that point. Batibot was like our educational kid show that everyone in the Philippines watched. But my parents turned me on to Sesame Street, and that show was actually how I learned how to speak English. And it was kind of confusing because they would actually teach you Spanish too. So my English and Spanish were kind of mixed together, you know. I'm as a kid, I couldn't tell the difference of which was Spanish and which was English, dude.
I've never thought of that. I've never thought of how that could be confusing to hear Elmo go, can you say hola? Right? It's like, oh yeah, I guess so. You know?
I remember, Elmo wasn't a thing yet. In the 80s, at least not from the ones that I was watching. And then there was one where they were doing hace calor, mucho calor, or whatever, the hot, and the weather is hot or whatever. There's a song that's oh, you can fry an egg in the cement, it's so caliente. I remember using that word when I first moved and whatever, man, it's so caliente. The hell are you talking about?
Oh my gosh.
Mainit in Tagalog, caliente, it's very I don't know how to express myself.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I was made fun of.
Yeah. I was just thinking, you had it rough because not only are you dealing with English speakers, you're dealing with the local English, the pidgin too. So it's
Dude,
oh man.
I moved here, and the thing is, aside from the random Spanish words that I would mix in with my English, I actually spoke English well. And in the Philippines, they teach English was a big subject. So if you speak to anyone in the Philippines, they all know how to speak English, and they might have accents and stuff, but there's their structure, especially if they write stuff, it's actually very well structured and written and things like that. So when I came here to America, and I was talking to the other kids, the kids would be making fun, but they were used to making fun of kids with accents, and I didn't have it. I never had that One, I'm from Manila, so I'm from the city, and the accents that they're familiar with are the immigrants that came from Ilocos Norte usually, and the accent that they're familiar with come from there. And although I'm half Ilocano, I was not from from Ilocos Norte. I'm from Manila. So when I came, I didn't have the accent, and I spoke well enough that mainland kids would know what what I'm saying, but the local kids would be making fun because I spoke like a mainland kid.
Yeah.
I spoke it too well, and they were you talk funny. I was like, what, you talk funny? I don't understand.
Not even grammatically correct.
Yeah. What the hell is talk funny? I don't understand. And then the kind was a big mystery for a long time. I didn't know what the hell that meant, and And yeah, I was very confused as to why they were making fun of me. And it turns out they were just mean. that was it. It wasn't, like to make fun of my accent or to make fun of the way that I spoke and stuff. It's just because they just wanted to be mean. And that's I'm like, got it. So you guys are just assholes.
Yeah, kids don't need a reason.
No. Like I didn't need a reason, although I did have one to rub my friends jittering in the dirt, but I did it anyway.
Yeah. The pigeon kind of comes up every once in a while when I'm like trying to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And recently it's like we were talking about tilapia, right? Catching tilapia.
Yeah.
And I spelled tilapia like how I would say it in pigeon.
T-A.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? Why isn't it coming up? And then it spell checks and it's like,
Yeah.
it's actually T-I. And I'm like, oh, okay. Tilapia.
Yeah. Today I learned.
So like I took Spanish in must have been high school, like I guess middle school, high school, something like that. I took Spanish thinking that it was like super easy because I can already speak Tagalog and I knew a little bit of Spanish from Sesame Street, right? Mm-hmm. But Filipinos have like their own Spanish. Mm-hmm. And it's mixed in with the Tagalog. So some Tagalog words are actually Spanish, but the pronunciation is different. Like for example, when we were taught our numbers, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So 6 and 7. For us, 6 is seis. Is that seis? So I would say seis. And 7 is siete in Tagalog. Mm-hmm. It's siete. Like we would have this like IE, we couldn't say that. Kind of like in Filipino, there's really one all around pronoun that we have. We don't have he, she, we just have sha. Sha. So we were pretty progressive in the whole pronoun game before. Before all the pronoun people, like it's because it was just sha, and that's why you have things like mamser, like in the Philippines, because one, we're trying to like be general with what we're saying, but sha is the is the pronoun that we use for everything, and that pronunciation kind of leaks into the Spanish, so siete becomes siete because we're used to saying that the sha sound. So in Spanish class, I was like pretty confident, and the teacher's like, okay, like who knows how to speak a little Spanish? I'm like, oh, I know how to speak a little Spanish, and my pronunciation's pretty good. And they're like, oh, do you know your numbers? And then I said it, and then the teacher's like, whoa, don't say that. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're like, whoa, easy with the hard H there, and and yeah, I had this weird like false sense of like confidence and like in my Spanish speaking skills, and I think I cruised the rest of that Spanish class and got a B or a C, but enough to pass. C's get degrees, as what Chino used to tell me. He's a doctor, okay? So he works for DHS, all right? C's get degrees, or he used to work for DHS. So he was in my Spanish class, and I remember we used to just cruise because we were like two Filipino speaking kids who could like, I kind of know this like Spanish word and how to say it already, but it was that false sense of like, I know how to say this, but there's some words. And then my wife, who's from California, and I guess she learned Spanish out of necessity to communicate with in some places in California. She's like making fun of my of my Spanish because she's like, no one says it that way. I'm like, what? This is the word.
Yeah, that's not uncommon on Kauai, right? Like, because we have so much different languages, we get mixed up.
Yeah,
and it's almost like I don't really know if this word is Hawaiian or Japanese or like Chinese even. So yeah, it can get a little bit confusing, and I've definitely like been like, oh yeah, I know what that word is in Japanese, and then it's like, that is not the word in Japanese, that's just our pidgin version for some reason. So
I just remember like my friend, his last name is Padilla, Padilla, but in Tagalog you would say Padilla with a Y instead of Padilla, so you'd say the L and say the Y. So like silla, which is seats, I guess, or chair, like in Spanish, we'd say cilia. So you would say the L and the Y. So just that alone, like my wife is confused, like, wow, where did you learn Spanish from? I'm like, where did you learn Spanish from? She's like, in the border next to Mexico.
Yeah.
So I should know. She's been ordering burritos all her life the right way to the right people.
It's like talk back to her in broken Japanese also.
Yeah, don't you wanna get that burrito databayo? It's so sugoi.
Even in Spanish, like in the Spanish-speaking world, right? There's like it would be different. Basically, every country has their own dialect of Spanish.
Yes, yeah. So Spain Spanish is different from like Mexico Spanish.
Yeah, or like South American countries.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we gotta have a whole, I don't know how we would do a podcast on Pidgin, or maybe it's just like how things are done on Kauai and in Hawaii, right? Where how you ask for things or how you communicate. But yeah, maybe we'll do like an episode on that.
Yeah. All right. I gotta head out soon, but good discussion. It kind of went on different tangents, but that's what this whole show is about.
Yeah.
So.
It wouldn't be this show if it didn't.
So please, if you like this episode and listen to it, like send in some of the educational toys or shows or CD-ROMs or whatever else that you grew up with. And it's kind of a trip thinking about that stuff, because it was like a whole different world that we grew up in.
Yeah.
And we dealt with it in the ways that we did. And I was even thinking about this too, the fact that like when we grew up, the idea of memorizing things had value. And now it seems like there's none of that, right? Like we thought we were smart if like you were like Ken Jennings and could recite the answer to anything, and now it's like I feel like there's less value in that just because the internet is so ubiquitous. So
yeah,
it's almost like a time capsule of like the educational toys, or like the things that they were geared towards. Is like it's kind of interesting what they put value on.
Yeah.
When we were growing up. But yeah, join our Patreon, I guess. What's the Patreon, Kai?
Big PPPod.
No, Patreon is just patreon.com/PPPod.
I thought it was Big PPPod, man.
Our website is Big PPPod.
I'm sure you can sign up from there also.
I'll go check, I guess. I don't know.
I just like saying that.
Yeah. But check out our Patreon, patreon.com/PPPod. And also, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know what the fuck these guys are talking about, right? Or I don't know what the hell these guys are talking about. Check out the Patreon post of the podcast, because I usually list links to things that we mention in the podcast itself. So if you want, you're like, what is Wishbone or what is Ghost Rider? I'll try to put links there.
Yeah. And then for our paid members, there's kind of a lot of bonus episodes that don't come out on the regular Spotify or iTunes feeds. So yeah, if you're a paid Patreon member, then you get like access to the whole archive of bonus or extended PPs episodes. Yeah, we're getting up there. I don't think we can record one today, but we'll try to get a bonus episode for this podcast as well. Yeah. Later.
Yep.
But yeah. So thank you to anybody who signed up for that, and thank you to anybody, because there's a free tier on Patreon as well that you could sign up and just get updates on whenever new episodes drop, because pretty much every week, right? We've been putting them out.
Yep.
So
I guess I should say that episodes come out every Monday in the morning, and the bonus episodes or the extended PPs come out Wednesdays. So yeah.
And then as a paid member, you get to listen to the podcast a week early too. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are probably past our time now. So yeah. Well, until next time, I'm Aaron.
I'm Aldrine.
I'm Kahai, and this program has been brought to you by listeners like you.
Yeah, and the letter P.
Yeah.
PP.
All right.
Letter PP.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.